The purpose of this video is to provide a training insight into the preferred usage of the approved 32mm and 63mm Plasson mechanical fittings for safe use during operations on live gas sites. The mechanical elbow shall only be used on tapping tees that have been installed according to the relevant specifications. Before use, inspect the body of the fitting for any signs of cracks or other damage. Visually inspect the internal sealing ring for evidence of dirt or debris. If necessary, this should be removed by rinsing with water. Only approved Plasson wrenches shall be used on both 32mm and 63mm mechanical fittings. Each fitting size has a sized wrench. The minimum insertion depth is machined into the wrench handle. This dimension needs to be clearly marked using a gold marker pen on the tapping tee outlet to establish the minimum insertion depth. These dimensions are 90mm when applying the 63mm fittings and 45mm for the 32mm fittings. When using the 63mm fittings, an external chamfer to the tapping tee outlet is required. This is achieved using the blue chamfering tool provided by Plasson. The chamfer permits the mechanical elbow to be fitted to the tapping tee outlet without risk of damaging the internal seals. Prior to assembly, the fitting lock position needs to be established. This is established by tightening the locking nut onto the fitting body using the supplied wrench. The lock position needs to be clearly marked using a gold marker pen on both the locking nut and fitting body. Using the wrench, loosen the locking nut from the fitting. The locking nut can then be loosened by hand 2 to 3 full turns. At no point throughout the process shall the fitting components be dismantled. Prior to final assembly of the 63mm fittings, the internal sealing ring should be lubricated using Allen's leak detection fluid. This needs to be applied directly to the internal sealing ring. Remove excess fluid prior to assembly. Insert the fitting onto the tapping tee outlet. The locking nut needs to be tightened onto the fitting body, at first by hand, then fully tightened using the supplied wrench. In order to achieve a leak-tight application, marks on the locking nut and fitting body need to be fully aligned, and the minimal insertion depth previously marked on the tapping tee outlet needs to be reached. It should be noted that the fitting can still rotate but cannot be moved when a leak-tight application is achieved. Fit the standpipe assembly to the mechanical fitting, ensuring that the standpipe is adequately supported at all times. The valve on the standpipe shall be in the open position and suitably cap the open end of the standpipe. To ensure the integrity of the mechanical fitting, a pressure test shall be carried out. Fit the pressure test assembly to the tapping tee threaded outlet and carry out a pressure test of 100 millibar for 5 minutes for low pressure applications and 3 bar for 5 minutes for medium pressure applications. Should pressure drop occur, locate the leak source, remediate and retest as required. The mechanical fitting is removed by loosening the locking nut using the supplied wrench, then unscrewing the locking nut by hand 2 to 3 full turns before removing the whole assembly as one. After each use, the fitting should be cleaned with water if required and stored appropriately in a bag to reduce the risk of damage or contamination. Should there be a requirement to temporarily install a mechanical end fitting, this can be undertaken following the procedures in stages 1 to 5. Mechanical end caps are for temporary use only and under no circumstances shall be backfilled. The mechanical end cap is removed following the same procedures as for the mechanical elbow. Should the tapping tee be left in place permanently, an electrofusion end cap shall be fitted in accordance with TPR ML4.